just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Thursday stream. Wait, nope, it's Wednesday, folks. Welcome to the Wednesday stream. See, I'm thinking ahead here, folks. Welcome. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. And real quick, folks. I don't know why this is not working. Hello. There we are. If you are in the Panhandle and what's considered the Big Bend area, now's the time to essentially hunker down. As there is a massive hurricane on the way. There we go. All right. Michael Hassner, how's it going? Blue Brother, good evening. There is a massive storm approaching. Folks, this is not a game. If you haven't evacuated already, at this point, I would make sure that you seek shelter. The storm is so freaking big that we're going to see impacts. We are seeing impacts here. And I'll pull up the stuff in just a moment. Give me 1 second, folks. Oh, shoot. Nope, that's not what I wanted. There we are. And we're going to see impacts even all the way up to here. What we will be experiencing will be closer to what would be closer to a tropical storm conditions. The problems here will be mostly wind and rain. I do expect the power to go out. So as of right now, it's the stream tomorrow is going to be put on a maybe scale. Is going to be put on a maybe scale because like the largest effects are going to happen tomorrow, or it's going to start tomorrow, I should say. So we'll see how things go. If it's possible, then we'll stream as normal. Everything is good. If there's an issue with the power, then so be it. Cami Castu, how's it going? So just as a heads up, I'll bring up some of the graphs up in just a second. Reminding me once again how lucky I am to live in Germany. No earthquakes, no hurricanes, or no tornadoes. You guys don't get anything. No blizzards, no potential windstorms, nothing. Oh, and before we get started, folks, don't forget, your support is what keeps this channel going. Thank you all for the support. Keep hitting the likes on the stream on YouTube. Keep following us here on Twitch, and join us on the Discord, folks. There's fantastic folks. This weekend is going to be movie night, tentative movie night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So join the Discord and consider checking that out. Be safe, and you and your family. Thank you. We will be safe. Rumor has it Hildy is retiring. Yes, I believe she announced. I believed her last stream. I just saw this on Twitter a couple days ago. I believe her last stream was literally last week or earlier this week. Wait, no, it can't be earlier this week. It's just Wednesday right now. Maybe it was last week or a couple days ago. So I believe you are correct. I believe you are correct, my class. I believe Hildy Beast is retiring from the streaming world. So that's unfortunate. And I only found this out because of Twitter. I only found this out because of Twitter after the fact. Who? Hildebeest. Like this, spelled out like this. I basically never moved in my entire life with the exception of moving a few kilometers. Here we basically got no catastrophe caused by nature. Lucky, lucky. All right, folks, let's get started. I like checking out Google's homepage. Me too. So this is what we have. Sometimes has some cool stuff there. Yeah, the little doodles. I like when the doodles. I like when you can actually interact with them, like a game or something. So what we're looking at is what the timeline is going to look like. This was earlier. This was earlier today, and so basically, around tomorrow evening is well, afternoon to evening is when things are going to start kicking up here. So we'll see what happens. Look at this wind field. This wind field is massive. You got that Sam Cedar background. Correct. Correct. Like, people like need to like take a second to take this in. This wind field is literally spanning across the entire Gulf. Like there's going to be parts of Mexico that are going to be experiencing the same conditions as like parts of Florida to Georgia. Like like this is wild. To think about like how huge like this entire like hurricane is going to be, or how much it's going to affect the area, I should say, as it goes through the Gulf. But then again, you got to keep in mind how huge the U.S. in comparison to Germany. Even California is way larger than Germany. Gotcha. Hopefully no asteroids as well. Well, as long as you don't look up. Massive. Look at that. No, I don't believe there's a chance of nuclear weapons. Trump still hasn't forgotten Jimmy Kimmel used this tweet at the Academy Awards to make a joke, and he's bringing it up again, not realizing he's warning another forgotten moment. He made a fool out of himself. I completely forgot about that too, to be honest. But leave it to Trump to make himself look like a fool at any point. There's some chance of nukes, might be low, but it's there. Carpet Packs, welcome. What's happening? A big hurricane is happening. Massive hurricane. Genocide with a chance of nukes. Sadly, you know what? Like the chances of it is very low, but existent. Existent. Once again, folks, at this point, if you are in the Big Bend area, now's the time. Now's the time to hunker down. Just follow what the authorities advise. Just follow what the authorities advise. If it's time to hunker down, it's time to hunker down. If it's time to evacuate, it's time to evacuate. If you see a bright flash, go to the light. It'll be faster that way. I think Putin will nuke rather than lose. I don't know. I don't know, because the ramifications of that means, like, everybody gets to push the button if that happens. But who knows? It might not even play out that way. It might not even play out that way at all. Because for one person to push the button, depending on what happens, would dictate the response, right? Because, like, it's not a guarantee that just because one person pushes the button, that means everybody will. I guess it's a possibility, but not sure. Even Putin realizes the gravity if he made that decision. If there's nukes, it'll be Israel nuking Iran. I think there's an auto launch in place. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know how the doctrine works. Whether, because I imagine that somebody has to give those orders. I imagine that some decision making has to be done before. There's no such. I would like to imagine that there's not like an auto launch feature where regardless of what happens, nukes get automatically launched. I don't think that's how that goes. I think decisions have to be made before anything of that nature happens. So, I don't know. Anyways. Haven't you seen the documentary about Dr. Strangelove? No, I have not. Where can I find such a documentary? Not sure if that's deadpan humor. Oh, it is. It's a satire. It's a satire of the Cold War. I watched a movie, but a documentary. Yeah, it's a satire. Blue Brother. Peter Sellers. Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Yep. This might be something to put in the later tab. 'Cause I don't think this is anywhere on the streaming service, right? Oh no, I lied. You can get it on Prime, so maybe. Huh. You can get it on Prime, so I'll have to check that out. It's a great movie ahead of its time. All right, well, you guys are selling me on it. Also, I just realized I misread the map earlier. So I apologize. The wind field is more like this. The wind field is more like this. See if we can get an actual satellite image of that. Whew. That is a big storm. Look at that. Yeah, it's true. There are bands that are hitting. Oh my god. There are bands that are hitting from continent to continent. Look at that. It's all the same continent. Shh. Okay. Don't make fun of me. From Jesus, it's embarrassing. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is the same continent from span to span over here. Look at this. It's huge. Hello, are we making fun of ADT? Yeah, we're making fun of my inability to differentiate continents. Yeah. Maybe it's hitting Colombia or Venezuela, I can't tell. I mean, like, they might... Can it go even that far down? Maybe some of these bands that are, like, all the way up here, when they eventually come down, they'll hit more of Central and South America. Yes, it is a parody of the nuclear threat at the time. That's what I was reading. No worries, the American education system is abysmal. Yeah, you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to chalk it off to, okay? Listen, I went to school in Florida, okay? Don't at me. Okay? I went to school in Florida. Don't at me. It's more of a parody of Mutually Assured Destruction. Gotcha. Yeah, I was reading a little like synopsis of it. It's from the Cold War. That is massive. Huge. Hurricane Andrew. Hope you went before Ron DeSantis took over. I was there when Ron DeSantis was governor at the beginning, and then I peaced out. But as much as I would like to peace out to a better place, at the time, it just wasn't feasible. So I just moved one state over. So a out of the frying pan and into the fire kind of situation, if you will. Like, check out the difference between like Hurricane Andrew, which was like a huge deal, and like mind you, this was a big hurricane. Hey, Mousander, how's it going? When is there going to be a hurricane? When is there going to be a Hurricane Mousy? Good question. Like just for comparison, because of course, as a former Floridian, you have to compare everything to Hurricane Andrew. So like this is just like half of Florida. Okay, like not even half. This is like the bottom portion of Florida, okay? This is like the bottom portion of Florida just for context. Like here's the Keys and like this is Lake Okeechobee right here. Um this is like Lake Okeechobee. So it's pretty freaking like it's pretty south, and you can kind of gauge at like the state of Florida in comparison to the size of Hurricane Andrew. And then like you see this monstrosity, okay? Like there is no freaking comparison, man. Not these hurricanes, not these newfangled climate crisis fueled hurricanes. This is just absurd. This is obscenely huge. Um 2,000 kilometers in diameter. I wish I could tell you like the length specifically, um, but I don't know like the length this way from Florida. Um, Otherwise I would just tell you, just shoot it. No, no, you can't shoot it. You have to nuke it. You can't shoot it. You have to nuke it. About 1,200 miles. Like Florida going, uh, Florida going this way. No, that can't be. Maybe Florida going vertical, like from north to south. Because like when I travel down to Florida, I travel hundreds of miles, but it's not 1,200. Oh, you mean like the hurricanes span? I believe that. Shooting only works on tornadoes, not hurricanes. True. Newest Hollywood hit coming up. That is just obscene. This thing, like I was pointing out earlier, this thing is literally going across the freaking Gulf. Hurricanes spawn tornadoes though, so keep your guns ready. All right, I will. I'm sure I'll take care of whatever hurricane comes here. It'll be super effective. Yeah, the diameter of the hurricane, I believe that. 1,200, I believe that. Because if it's like 700 plus miles from like where I go to Florida, then like 1,200 would probably track. That would make sense. That would make sense. How do I combat monsoon rains? Question. Let me look that up real quick. A big sponge. Giant umbrellas and stilts. Well, I Googled it very thoroughly. And according to Google, I should throw a grenade at the monsoon and it should dissipate. It should dissipate the monsoon rains. I just can't get over how massive this thing is. Like there's going to be people in Mexico feeling hurricane conditions at the same time or similar as bands hit Florida across the Gulf. As I was saying earlier, that's just absurd. And mind you, it hasn't even hit this nice chunk of hot water. It hasn't even reached this nice chunk of hot water that will no doubt intensify it right before it hits the Big Bend area, which is right here. Hold on, if I can. Oh, it's not letting me go any bigger. Which is right here. Let me turn on my cursor, because if not, you're not going to be able to see it. Display. There we go. Properties. Okay. Maybe you can see it now. The Big Bend area is like right here. It's like this little area here. That's where it's gonna go. And this area right here is just a very, very warm water. That's gonna be where it re-intensifies. John Rando, welcome. We can all agree it looks scary at the least. Oh yeah, and it's not done. That's what I was trying to get at. It's not done, because once it hits these warm waters of the Gulf, whew. Yet another reason you couldn't even pay me to live in Florida. Agreed. Michael, 2018 victim staring down at the barrel of Helene only 6 years later. Jesus Christ. Did they tell you to evacuate? Because, like, it's just getting ready to cook and it's freaking huge. Yeah, like, I was showing chat earlier. Like, this is wild. This is absurd. Like, this is obscenely huge. This ain't your grandpappy's hurricanes anymore. Where, I was making the comparison to Andrew. in comparison to this. This is just wild. Let me turn my cursor off. Okay. Once it hits lands, it will lose some power, though. Yeah, it will. Most definitely. It's just like before it does, though. Before it does, it's gonna get some. It's gonna get some juice. Now, I thought it was going to be. I thought it was gonna be like a category 3 before a high category 3 before it hit landfall, but I'm thinking it might be freaking stronger than that. Before it hits. They're forecasting at a category 4 now? Jesus Christ. It'll be at least latest is a category 4 at landfall. Yeah, that makes more sense because if we're looking at that monster now and it hasn't even hit the Gulf yet, like the real like warm waters in that area, oh boy, it's going to get a nice juice before it freaking hits landfall. All right, let's get into the content, folks. It's time. I haven't seen this video, but I'm imagining that we're gonna hear some very gross stories. So yeah. I know David usually is pretty good about this. But in any case, I will just do that just in case.
I was in shock and smothered, and he had his hands here against my shoulders. I felt sick inside.
And all of a sudden, Donald Trump started groping me. He was trying to kiss me, and I'm trying to push him away.
2 new anti-Trump ads have been released, and I'm going to share them with you, as well as I want to get your thoughts on if you think this will have any impact on the race, because I'm getting some reminders of 2016 when some of these stories came out and he still won the elections.
Yeah, like, just to be clear, crap, I gotta watch this again. I'm sorry, if you've seen this, like, if you've seen this, do you know, like, how bad it's gonna get, or is David, this is a big, huge, okay. Oh boy, nope, alright. So, as David was saying, I don't know how much of an impact. It's gross, but not too graphic. Okay. I trust David. People that are going to vote for Trump, they're not going to care about this kind of stuff, right? Like if all the stuff that we've known about this dude since 2015, since he started to run, if all this stuff didn't like meaningfully sway Trump supporters back then like this is not going to sway them now, right? Like we literally knew that back then when this dude owned beauty pageants that he would walk in to the dressing rooms. So if that didn't do it, I mentioned before, but could you please give a quick introduction about what the next video is? Yeah, sorry. I usually I usually try to remember that you requested that. This is about two new Trump ads, and these are interviews with people, with women that have come forward with these allegations. They only care about getting back to low inflation, and they don't know tariffs won't do that. Yep, that's true. They think somehow like tariffs are a way of combating inflation. That's not how that works. As a non-native speaker, those information really come in handy. I gotcha. Yeah, usually with the videos, I forget, but no worries.
So I want to know what you think.
So yeah, as I was saying, this is just two new Trump ads. Give you the TLDR. Two new Trump ads. Women coming forward with allegations, and David's thoughts on this.
Think after you see these ads. But this is coming from George Conway's group, George Conway's PAC, who is, of course, the ex-husband of Kellyanne Conway. Kellyanne Conway, of course, is the former aide of Donald Trump, who is now a Fox News contributor. What a crazy family. But putting all that aside, this is where Trump currently sits among women. This is a recent NBC poll here. So Harris is up 21 points on Trump with women. And that is an increase from where Biden was, where he was at plus 11 in July. So she's added 10 points since then. Trump, meanwhile, is up 12 with men, which is down from where he was with men in July. So men are trending in the right direction. Women are trending in the right direction. Things are looking pretty good right now. I still have a hard time understanding why Trump has any support at all, but that's a whole different conversation. He's a complete maniac. He's a disaster. Apart from, him as a character who's, he's a terrible person. But even apart from that, his policy, the fact that, what did he do for 4 years? Tax cuts for massive corporations, and that helped too. So just ripping up the Iran deal, which has helped to just increase tensions with a lot of what's going on right now in the Middle East. But apart from all of that, let me get to this first ad here, and I'm going to get to where these ads are going to be playing, because it is clearly strategic and also in a way that is strategically trying to poke Donald Trump. But here is the first ad.
My name is Natasha Stoynoff. In 2005, I went to interview Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. At one point, Melania went upstairs to change her clothes for the next photo shoot. And Trump said to me, I want to show you this beautiful painting, this beautiful room.
Oh, they divorced. Oh, for a second there, I was like, why can't I ban the bot? And I realized SariBot just preemptively banned them. Thank you. I love this channel too. I always post his videos. Yeah, David's a good dude. I think David's pretty solid.
He leads me to this room, pushes me against the wall, and starts kissing me forcefully. I tried to push him. He kept coming back at me. I was in shock and smothered, and he had his hands here against my shoulders. I felt sick inside. I felt horrified. And thank goodness the butler charges into the room. Like many women, I blamed myself. So Trump turned to me and said, you know we're going to an affair, don't you? And Melania was approaching. I was horrified. When the Access Hollywood tape came out, and also stories of many other women, including E. Jean Carroll, I realized I was not...
Yeah, like, that should have been the end of it. Like, if these Trump supporters actually cared about any of that, that would have been the end of it. Like, that would have been done at that point. But clearly, if they didn't care then... David Dole was saying, I don't think they'll care now, right?
Not to blame. That he was just a predator of women. What could have happened if the butler had not come into the room? Donald Trump is an adjudicated sexual assaulter. We cannot elect this man as president.
Anti-Psychopath PAC Inc. is responsible.
Anti-Psychopath PAC. That's right. Good bot. What a creep. Yeah, this is just, oof. In for the most handsome, built, young, dashing man, this behavior is, yeah, like, this is just not okay. This is not okay in any way, shape, or form. Like, just to be clear, like, it doesn't matter, like, who, it doesn't matter who, like, just don't, like, this is just not okay. The problem is that a real Trump supporter will consider her story as fake news. Yeah, I mean, like they didn't care back then with the Hollywood Access tapes. They don't care now. Yeah, they'll just chalk, like you said, they'll just chalk it off to fake news or some kind of misogynistic excuse, or just blame the victim. Imagine unwanted behavior. Like that's just, ooh. No one wants this. Like no one wants to be accosted against their will, by anybody. This is just gross.
Responsible for the content of this advertising.
This was a powerful ad. Now, I knew the story already. Like this came out in 2016. This is just being brought up again, as it should. Like these stories should be in the minds of people, but unless you follow the news all the time.
Yeah, and like they didn't care back then either. As I was just saying.
It's very easy to forget. Like anyone trying to claim, that they're just doing it for attention. I bet most of you completely forgot this ever happened. Forgot about the story. Don't remember her name. I forgot her name. I remember the People magazine writer thing.
Yeah, me too. I'll be honest, me too.
But that's what I remember her as. I forgot her name completely. So like this idea that anyone's trying to do this for attention is insane because these stories came out, 8 years ago and people forget that, where's their big movie deal or whatever the hell people are trying to argue. So these are actual stories, things that really happened, and it had no impact. You could argue maybe it did have an impact, but it wasn't enough of an impact to sink his chances in the race. Just, of course, didn't help that Hillary Clinton was just ran a terrible campaign. But these ads are going to be played. And again, I'll get to the other one as well. And I'll also get to later on Trump's recent comments about women, which it's just, they're ridiculous. And I'll get to a reaction from another former aide of his reacting to his recent comments. But
whoa.
Need reliable.
No, I don't need internet. I have internet. Thank
these
you.
ads are going to air on Trump's favorite channels, including Fox News, ESPN, and the Golf Channel, in his hometowns of West Palm Beach, Florida, and Bedminster, New Jersey. So clearly an attempt here to, bother him and trigger him. Additionally, the ads are being featured nationally on CNN, MSNBC's Morning Joe, Hallmark, Lifetime, and streaming platforms in the critical swing state of Pennsylvania. So I look at this as a two-pronged strategy here. And they're also set to air on News Nation during the
Yeah, but like the people that already know that this man is gross and a creep and a predator are already not going to vote for him, right? Like this is kind of like the sad conundrum like we find ourselves in, especially for like the people that he's assaulted that appear on these videos, is that like the people who care are already going to like vote against him, no doubt about it. But unfortunately, the people that are going to vote for him this is not a moving factor for them.
vice presidential debate. I look at this as a two-pronged strategy. One is you're actually trying to have an impact on the race, in particular in Pennsylvania here. And the other is you are trying to trigger him into maybe saying something in a similar way that Kamala Harris triggered Trump.
I mean, maybe that's true. Maybe the second part, maybe the second part, like maybe just to bring that out again, just to trigger him and get him to continue to be himself, essentially. And thus like doing the job for the Dems. Maybe I think that would probably be a better reason, in my opinion. But yeah, if there were similar stories about Harris, they would have already emerged by now. Yeah, but no, or yeah, that's not. And like the difference would be that if something like this emerged out of Harris, she would be done. I seriously doubt that a good portion of people, like if like something like this came out of like the Dem candidate, they would be like pretty much done. I think, in my opinion, that's it. Their chances would be sunk.
During the debate about his crowd sizes, and he couldn't help himself. So I think that's why they do stuff like this, is they're really trying to get to him and see if it you know results in him having another meltdown. But this is where it's worth bringing up. This is from 2023. There may have been more since then. It's hard to keep track of this, but there are 26 credible accusations of Donald Trump of assault, non-consensual touching, and kissing. So I'll link to this below the video as well in case you want to go through each of those stories. Let me get to
right. No, I don't believe that any story like this would ever emerge for Kamala. I don't believe that, but like, I'm just saying that if it did, she would be done. Like, she would lose the race.
the second ad now.
1979, I had gotten on an airplane. The stewardess said to me, "Would you like to come up to first class?" In the window seat was a gentleman, said that his name was Donald Trump. The airplane took off, and all of a sudden, Donald Trump started groping me. He was...
I remember this story. They attacked her for that. And Trump, I think, even spoke on this, saying like, "Oh, this never happened. How could this have happened?" And like, he started like, I think, was this the same story where he even was like insulting her not that long ago, or am I wrong? I think it was in an interview, or was he talking about Jean Carroll? I can't remember. Keep going? Okay.
Trying to kiss me, and I'm trying to push him away. He was basically overpowering me. When he started putting his hand up my skirt, I got out of the seat, grabbed my purse, and went back to my original seat. And I certainly was shook up by the whole thing. 2 years later, at this fundraiser, up comes Trump and his wife. And he looked at me and he said, "I remember you. You're that cunt from the airplane." Donald Trump views women as for his entertainment. He is a serial predator.
I agree. Holy yikes.
He has said it at point blank, and he's done it, and he will continue to do it.
Anti-Psychopath PAC Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I gotta say, just it's not important, but Anti-Psychopath PAC Inc. Very hard to say. Great name for a pack. Try saying that 5 times fast. So this ad, again, also powerful. Also a story that came out in 2016. It was a part of this piece in the New York Times. 2 women say Donald Trump touched them inappropriately.
That is just so skin-crawling gross. Oof. Oof.
October 12th, 2016. So, there's more to this story. She had called her sister at the time, and her sister recounts the conversation as well. And she was, of course, very shaken by the whole experience. This had no impact. Again, I should say, maybe it did, but not enough of an impact to actually sink the election. Look at how, just look at the double standards here. Could there even be an equivalent for Kamala Harris doing something like this? What would be the equivalent of this?
Maybe as a I don't know. I'm sure there could be a scenario, but the point being is that there's just no stories like this. It's not, there's never been a history, whereas there is a history with Donald Trump being a predator, a creep. There's just a freaking stack of stories with this guy. A woman raised her voice at a Stafford's treated worse than this. Yeah, misogyny is a real thing.
She physically abused staff members that didn't listen to her or something like that. That would take her down. That would destroy her campaign, or at least have a greater impact on her campaign than any of these 26 accusations have had on Donald Trump.
Which is wild. which is wild. Simply the most successful cult leader in all of human history thus far. Oh man, that's
People-
it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing.
Have this, I wish I had an answer for this, but people have just this built-in assumption already that yes, Donald Trump is terrible, and it's like whatever new piece comes out, whatever new story comes out, or old story gets resurfaced, or any new thing he says, it's just, oh, it's Donald Trump. Even for people that hate him, it is hard for things that he says now, the absolute BS he goes on about, it's hard for that to have an impact anymore, because he's already said 12 different things that are the exact same or done. 20
Yeah, I think David's onto something, like where like it's just like, I think we talked about this in a previous stream, where it's just also normalized that like people people just go, like, kind of have already this ingrained, like, oh, it's just Donald Trump. Like, no, man, this is not okay. This is not normal. This is not cool. I don't know about all of history. The Kims of North Korea are pretty successful cult leaders.
26 other things, or 25 other things that are the exact same thing. So it almost paralyzes you as a consumer of news, just because this is who we expect. This is what we expect of him. Now, worth driving home as well that last year, jury found Trump liable for sexual abuse and awarded E. Jean Carroll $5 million, and the judge.
Yep, that's it. The people that love him think like him, right? Like, have you this is just like a general question for folks. Have you actually talked to a real, like, diehard Trump supporter in IRL, in real life, like not just like arguing through the comments or just scrolling through like their social media, but like actually had an exchange, whether it be digital or face to face, with an IRL like Trump supporter? You are completely correct, Kamikaze. Like, the people that genuinely like love this dude because he's like a cult leader, and like it's a cult. It's eerie. It's eerie, scary, at all at the same time, frustrating, angering. Like, if you've actually had an exchange with these cult members, it's a thing. My father-in-law is that. Yeah, family, close friends. Yeah. Ooh. It is scary. I agree, Mighty Mouse. It indeed. Like, if you spend enough time trying to go back and forth, like, I think the most like bizarre, frustrating, angering, all of these emotions is like, it's just how you can see where the disconnect from reality is, and how willing these people are to forego all of that just to adulate this guy. It is actually like impressive how they just disconnect themselves from reality. And you can see it happen in real time. You could see it happen in real time with just a couple of exchanges. All to just embrace and adulate this dude who doesn't give a single flying about you, about any of these people, about any of them. And to trigger the libs. Yeah, but that's kind of like secondary. Like, the people I'm talking about, like the real cult members, like the Trump MAGA like hardcore Trump supporters. Actually, I take it back. Someone I knew did, and had to get away from him. They were also telling me QAnon crap. Yeah, yeah, it gets pretty freaking out there really fast. Uh, it gets pretty out there really quickly. Like it was a normal thing. Yep. Yep.
Judge had to clarify later on because the Trump camp was trying to claim that, oh, it's
Yeah, like like this the person that like I'm speaking about in my personal experience, the person that I'm speaking about in my personal experience, like they 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 got triggered, which is funny because like, you know, the F your feelings crowd sure is about their feelings. But the F your feelings crowd, yeah. So what ended up triggering them was me dunking on the smug TikTok guy. I think we showed a video of him, McEntee. I refuse to remember this guy's name. McEntee. Oh, Christ. John McEntee. I had to look him up again. John McEntee. That's what did it, by the way. Dunking on him and calling him a smug piece of ish is what did it, by the way. Amazing. SV Harkin, welcome. Triggering libs is something they compulsively do to convince themselves they are right and their warped reality is correct. Yeah, I suppose it is a reinforcing mechanism. That's a good point. Has little to do with the actual libs. Yeah, I could take that. Yeah. That's a good point. It's a reinforcing mechanism to keep the fictional the fictional world they've built real.
it's liable for abuse, but it wasn't rape. No, but Judge clarified later on. Yes, Trump was found to have raped E. Jean Carroll. It was just the way the semantics of how the legal system works made it not as clear in the ruling as what actually happened. But it's worth driving that.
Yeah,
home.
just to be clear, like the only reason this wasn't criminal is because like something to do with the statute of limitations, if I'm correct. So the victim, E. Jean Carroll, went the civil route. That's how this whole thing came to be. Like, I'm pretty sure that if this was, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that if this was within the statutes of limitations, we would be talking about a criminal trial. So like, yeah, it should be completely ignored. They would also say racist stuff about people right in front of me. I'm not a white person, so I'm not comfortable around them, and they know I'm not. It made no sense. Yikes. Yikes.
Now, this is recently Donald Trump at a rally. Here, let me just play this. I'm going to play a bit of this. This is his new line in trying to win back women.
I always thought women liked me.
Bro, what? Let me stop you right there. Dude, you are a serial predator and a creep. Okay? Last time I checked, nobody likes a freaking creeper predator. Okay? Gold diggers, maybe? Not even. Assuming he is as wealthy as he claims. And one thing I forgot is autocracy wasn't something he did, but merely inherited from his... Oh, the Kim. Yeah, true.
I never thought I had a problem. But the fake news keeps saying women don't like me. I don't believe it. I think
It's not that women don't like you, bro. Is that you freaking assaulted them and groped them, and in the case of E. Jean Carroll, raped them, dude. You are a serial predator and a creep. Okay? All this when Trump was president. Trump made everybody comfortable saying everything out loud. Yeah, that I think that's a good point to be brought up. Like, Trump himself, maybe Trump himself, doesn't believe in all this nonsense. Maybe he's just doing this to aggrandize himself because the cult he's raised likes these things. But it doesn't matter. The point being, as you just pointed out, like, his effect is far beyond not just his bad policies, but like this political environment that we found ourselves. The environment just generally, like societally, I don't know, speaking, is just freaking toxic. That's exactly a good point to bring up. Okay, that's true, Mouselander. People date and marry serial killers in jail. Why didn't he and Epstein have to put up contracts with their modeling agencies that the models had to attend parties that were a few rich guys? Yeah, but he doesn't know that guy. However, also he wished Ghislaine Maxwell well.
I think you know why they like long borders. They like to have safety. I make this statement to the great women of our country. Sadly, women are poorer than they were 4 years ago, much poorer, are less healthy than they were 4 years ago, are less safe on the streets.
Less healthy than 4 years ago. Hey, real quick, what happened during that presidency that would make somebody feel less healthy 4 years ago? Let's see. What was the ripple effect of that? Can somebody remind me? He embodies the most toxic masculinity, and he provides cover for judges to emulate him. He's just a white supremacist POS. Yeah, agreed. That's where he met Melania, and out of those parties, she was a Trump model. Long COVID? I suppose that's one of the things. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
Than they were 4 years ago, are paying much higher prices for groceries and everything else than they were 4 years ago, are more stressed and depressed and unhappy than they were 4 years ago.
All right, I'm pausing it there because it gets weird. But I had to address the point he's making here. 4 years ago.
Yeah, axing Roe v. Wade. Whoa, hey, come back.
It makes me...
Whoa. God dang it.
Story comes out, or old story. Donald Trump.
Streets than they were 4 years ago, are paying much higher prices for groceries and everything else than they were 4 years ago, are more stressed and depressed and unhappy than they were 4 years ago.
All right, I'm pausing it there because it gets weird.
Aren't depressed and sad the same thing? I think they're synonyms, interchangeable. Didn't a bunch of people get thrown off healthcare during Trump? I'm not sure, but it wouldn't. That tracks. I'm not sure though. God is busy. Can't dang anything for you today. Sorry.
But I had to address the point he's making here. 4 years ago, we were 6 months into the pandemic. Who was happy? Who was not stressed? What are you talking about? This is what I talk about when I talk about Trump.
Depression is worse, in my honest opinion.
And how it is exhausting. Just the levels of bullshit again and again. He wants you to pretend that September 2020 was a great time for everybody. Are you insane? Like, come on. Not to mention, when it applies to cost of living, for example, there was global inflation that impacted the entire world,
I think depression is more clinical and persistent. Yeah, I think, you know what? That's a good point, Carpen. I guess colloquially, like, sad, but like, yeah, I think he I think he put that well. My mom died while I had COVID in 2020 and wound up with long COVID issues. Jesus Christ.
And not to mention on top of that, greedflation, which corporations taking advantage of the situation, and things have come down in terms of inflation, have come down since then. So again, just this complete manufacturing of a reality that never existed. But let me get to the rest of the comments here, which get, again, weird.
I am your protector. I want to be your protector. As president, I have to be your protector. I hope you don't make too much of it.
That's so freaking cringe. That's so freaking cringe, man. Oh man, there isn't enough red thread to make the red flag enough for this guy. Freaking minor in psychology for the win. Thank you, Heat. There isn't enough red thread to make the red flag big enough for this dude. Holy Christ. I hope you don't take much of it because I don't really want to do much. I was depressed for 37 years, not so much anymore. That's good to hear. Thanks, Trump, for undoing all of Obama's preparedness for the pandemics. MAGA denied the existence of the pandemic in the first place. Yeah, it's kind of a weird thread that they have to weave because, like, they simultaneously believe that the pandemic happened and that, like, Trump led the country through the pandemic, but also it wasn't a big deal. It's inconsistent.
You will no longer be abandoned, lonely, or scared. You will
Don't worry, women. Trump is gonna. Don't worry, women. Trump is going to protect you. Okay. Don't worry. Trump is gonna protect you. You won't have to worry anymore because Daddy Trump is here. Ooh, how gross. I'm glad U.S. quit to exist. Well done, Biden. True. The U.S. doesn't exist anymore.
no longer be in danger. You're not going to be in danger any longer. You will no longer have anxiety from all of the problems our country has today.
Because Daddy Trump is coming to help you. This is freaking skin crawling. A lot of the time, Trump uses very simple words. A lot of his appeals being easy to understand and being counterculture. I can assure you that it has nothing to do with being easy to understand and being counterculture. It's just being it's just placating people's preconceived racist bias. I can assure you it has nothing to do with being easy to understand.
You will be protected, and I will be your protector. You will no longer be thinking about abortion. So all they talk about, abortion.
Oh man, it just gets worse, huh? Every time this dude freaking opens his mouth. Oh my god.
All right, again, all of these comments were...
You will no longer be thinking about abortion. Because in Gilead, okay, it doesn't exist. Okay, in New Gilead, you won't have to think about abortion. Because there won't be any. Trump just resents paying for all those abortions. I use him as a human shield. Be my protector, Donald.
Specifically...
My business I built my whole life was collapsed by sanctions. Now I trade with China with way more margin. So, yay, Biden?
Directed towards women. That is how he introed this portion of his speech. I am your protector. He kept hammering that home. This really came off like an idea that was brought to him by, a couple of men in a room. Like, oh, women like to feel protected. So how about you go out there and act like you're going to be their protector? They also like people who aren't a rapist, but you don't fit the bill. So
yeah, God complex.
It comes off as weird coming from Donald Trump. And then on top of that, you will no longer have to think about abortion. Yeah, because you will completely outlaw it. So I guess in a way you could maybe argue, yeah, they can't think about abortion because they can't have one.
Starting a crypto company a day after your second assassination, Trump tells me he has no interest in counterculture. Exactly.
What is this? There's more there about how he solved the abortion issue by putting it to the states where women are dying because they're unable to access healthcare.
Yeah, literally. Not exaggeration. Literally dying.
So, because there are doctors who are afraid they're going to be prosecuted if they perform procedures that these women need. It's so disgusting that he's trying to play this angle here. I think most people, we looked at the numbers earlier, most women know better, but it's just weird to me that he thinks this is going to, save his campaign. Let me get to the comments here. The reaction. This is from Alyssa Farah, who was a former White House official for Donald Trump. And she's also, I believe, a host on The View.
The stuff about women does it strike you as odd?
I started laughing and thinking it was creepy, but then thinking more about it, it's very infantilizing.
Yeah, no kidding. Unless he's using some basic English. As a foreigner, I can say with certainty any Germans in the 8th grade school understand basically every word he says. Yeah, well, he speaks. Yeah. Yeah, hey, what's the angle here? Breaking, Alex Jones sells InfoWars for 2 My Pillows and a donut and claims ownership of nearby park bench. Don't worry, Fomashna, we'll get to him. We'll get to him in a second.
Talking about women as though we're weak, we're meek, we need a protector, we need a defender, and we just sit around thinking about abortions all day. It just underscores a fundamental lack of understanding for why a demographic that represents half of the country is one that he is struggling so profoundly with.
Glad to know I wasn't the only one that thought those comments were weird. This is from
It's freaking creepy, man. Like, who does this?
Republican here. Now, I don't know, imagine Joe Biden said this. Like, it's weird if Trump says it, which shows you that if it's weird, even if when he says it, because again, very few things faze us when it comes to Trump. Imagine like Joe Biden saying it. I will be the protector of women. Women, don't you worry. I will be your protector. You'll be safe with me. Or let's reverse it. What if Kamala Harris, since she is down with men compared to Trump, what if Kamala Harris came out, men, don't you worry, men. I will be your protector.
A malignant narcissist trying to pretend they have empathy. They always get it slightly wrong. I'm not sure I know people who never took part in voting before Trump who voted because he isn't like other politicians or tells it like it is. I'm not saying he isn't racist. He isn't a racist douche, which he is. The Obama birthing good people on each side were terrible. Right, because he's a racist douche, as you mentioned. Well, I don't get it either, and there's no logic to it. Because, I never understood that angle either. No idea. I hope US quit using Russian nuclear and rare metals like Titan and Wolf. Wolfram prices will go after... Yeah, what does this have to do with anything? Why does anyone join a cult? Good. What do you think about the predictions that there will be chaos on voting day? I think it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility. A lot of these far-right people have a high propensity for violence. So, yeah, I think it's possible. I think that the way I think the way that Republicans are finagling, are pulling shenanigans with voting rules. You know, I think it's possible. Okay, dude. How about you take a break, dude? This has nothing. I don't get it. You know, Lestat, when Republicans do things like this, like, you know, it guarantees a more likely. It increases the chances that there's chaos on voting day, like doing stuff like this, making rules where your single election committee, in Georgia, for example, can completely pause the counting of of votes and can delay the certification of an election. Yeah, that increases the chances for chaos. So yeah. Is it possible? Yes. I'm gonna lurk for now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Join the League of Women Voters or other groups.
It's just weird.
Yeah, if any Democrat candidate said it, he would have lost immediately.
Weird. It's a weird thing to say.
You know what? They should. Like, you know, if in a hypothetical scenario, like for example, if Biden came out and said some weird stuff like this repeatedly, like, yeah, man, he deserves to lose. We need alert command. We do.
It's a weird way to try and project your support for men or women. You know, whatever. It's not going to move the needle either way. I think a lot of people are sort of locked in, and at this point, just a matter of getting people out to vote. Like, that is really what is going to win this election for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, is turnout. If turnout is high,
hey, Joe Biden's not running, bro. Slipping, David. Sir, when did you record this video?
Harris will win. Democrats win when turnout is high because most people don't lean crazy. Most people tend to lean in a more positive direction. But it's just about getting them out to actually vote and feel the need, and like their vote matters, and that there's a candidate maybe speaking to their issues in a way that wasn't speaking to them before. So turnout is going to be everything, especially as it applies to young people. That is what's going to win this election for Kamala Harris. This other stuff, again, I'm curious.
Yeah, that's a good point. We've talked about this, SV Harkin. These weird things he says are prepping his base for election-related violence when he loses. Yeah, constantly blaming everybody, blaming the Dems, blaming mail-in ballots. At one point, we played the clip where he said that, you know, if 60%, if 40% of Jewish people are voting for me, that means 60% are voting against me, and that's an issue. So if I lose, that was the implication here. Like, literally, you can pop this up. It will take me 5 seconds. So yeah, going back to that point, SV Harkin. Before we move on, yeah.
If I don't win this election, and the Jewish people would really have a lot to do with that if that happens, because at 40%, that means 60% of the people are voting for the enemy. If I don't win this election, and the Jewish people would really have a lot to do with that if that happens, because at 40%, that means 60%.
That right there is like enough for me. Because like if him going on national TV on the debate stage and saying that these group of immigrants are eating pets and dogs caused 33 bomb threats. Can you imagine if he goes on an even bigger stage and says like, "Oh, Jewish people are the reason why I lost"? Like, what? I can only imagine like how his supporters would handle that. Also, he's not even getting 40% of the demographic. Well, I just assume that, I'm just assuming that he's lying about the statistics or the numbers, but yeah. So if he loses, there might be a purge mentality. Well, yeah, I would assume so, because they would immediately take this as Democrat, socialist, baby eating cabal made the dear leader lose, and there's no other option but to enact violence to install this guy, install the dear leader. Like, I could totally see that being a thought process that happens. Whether or not it gets acted upon is another thing, or how likely it is one thing. But like, if they were willing to do the insurrection on January 6th, now, I would argue that the propensity for violence has increased to a uncomfortable number.
Here's your thoughts on these two ads. If you think this will have any impact, or if you think that ship on Trump at this point has sailed.
I think it sailed. I don't think these people care. I'm be honest. I don't think they care. They didn't care back then. They don't care now. The people that are going to vote for Trump are going to vote for Trump. My biggest concern remains the safety of vote counters in Philly, Detroit, and Atlanta. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's very scary, and especially in Georgia, with that vote. I mean, and jury isn't a monolith, but there's a chance that wait, what? No, fuck out of here. What is that? Jewelry? That's not okay, dude. Get out of here. No. No. Mm-mm. Nope, that's not okay. We're not doing that. Nope. He's talking to the cult who thinks he is Jesus. Yep. Yes, please. Why speak in this way? Jesus Christ. Who says that? I don't know, but that's not okay here. Anyways. Someone, I think it was Faux Machina, alluded to this story. Judge to OK Auctions liquidating Alex Jones InfoWars to help pay Sandy Hook families. Conspiracy theorist and Nazi adjacent InfoWars media platform leader Alex Jones and its assets will be sold off piece by piece in auctions this fall to help pay the more than $1 billion he owes the relatives of victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting under an order expected to be approved by a federal judge. Indeed. Going icky, indeed. Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. Like, come on. Going bankrupt like a pro. Where's the song? Which one? We'll play it. We've got a few Alex Jones songs. Which one do y'all want? U.S. bankruptcy judge Christopher Lopez in Houston said on their court hearing on Tuesday that he will approve the auctions that start in November, but he said first must change a previous order to make it clear that the trustee overseeing Jones's personal bankruptcy case controls all assets of InfoWars, parent company Free Speech Systems, which is owned 100% by Jones. Anyone? All right, dealer's choice. We'll find one. We'll find one and play it at the end. Take all of that bastard's blood money. Yep. Despite the pending loss of his company, Jones vows to continue his talk show through other means, possibly including a new website and his personal social media accounts. He also suggested InfoWars assets could be brought by his supporters. Oh, come on.
Systems, the company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the new
It's very
world
cut and dry that
order.
assets of free speech systems, the website, the shopping cart, all that can be sold, said Jones. And they know full well that there's a bunch of patriot buyers, patriots, and the operations can ease on. Yeah, exactly. Somebody's getting a lot of prepper food and male enhancement drugs.
Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what was going on, but keep it within the realm of the chat topic, I guess.
Around coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
That's my favorite part of the freaking video, honestly. That's my favorite freaking part of the video. I was watching Fox News. Yeah, we know. Jones and his company both filed for bankruptcy protection in 2022, the same year Sandy Hook families won a nearly $1.5 billion in defamation and emotional distress lawsuits against Jones for his repeatedly calling of the 2012 school shooting a hoax staged by crisis actors to get more controlled legislation passed. 20 first graders and 6 educators were killed in Newton, Connecticut shooting. Several people got stabbed were the family of the judge in the bank case related to Trump's money laundering. Is that what he was talking about? Why he got me naked, though? Just another mobster event around Trump that people forget because there are so many. During 2 civil trials in Texas and Connecticut, parents and children of many of the victims testified that they were traumatized by Jones's hoax conspiracy and his followers' actions. They said they were harassed and threatened by Jones believers, some of who confronted the grieving families in person, saying the shooting never happened and their children never existed. One parent said someone threatened to dig up his dead son's grave. Jones is appealing the civil jury verdict, citing free speech rights and questioning whether the families proved any connection between his comments and the people who harassed and threatened the relatives. He has since acknowledged and the people who harassed and threatened the relatives, he has since acknowledged the shooting didn't happen. That the shooting did happen. Just another mobster event around Trump. People forget there's so many. Back then, it might have been a projection. I don't buy that, dude. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Nobody talks like that. Like, it's such a strange phrasing that it kind of, you understand why that kind of raises a red flag, right? Talking about Jewish people isn't wrong. It's just an odd phrasing that perks my ears up. Do you understand? I'd recommend it looking into what words actually mean in the future, doing some reflection and actually talking to Jewish people. You can send that to me, Fomashina. Words are often co-opted by nefarious forces. Yeah, I just think that I'm not disputing the technical definition. That's not what I'm disputing. I just feel like it's a weird phrasing. All I'm saying is that is not how people talk in common parlance, and it raises a red flag. In June, Lopez converted Jones's personal bankruptcy reorganization case into a liquidation, meaning many of his assets will be sold off to pay creditors except for his main home and other exempt property. The same day, Lopez also dismissed Free Speech Systems' bankruptcy case after Jones and the families could not reach an agreement on a final plan. The sell-off order Lopez intends to approve would put InfoWars intellectual property up for auction on November 13th, including its trademarks, copyrighted materials, social media accounts, and websites. Jones' personal social media site, which includes his account on the social platform X, which has 2.8 million followers, would not be included. However, the trustee overseeing Jones's bankruptcy case, Christopher Murray, said Tuesday that he may soon seek court permission to also liquidate Jones's personal social media account and other intellectual property, which Jones' attorney have opposed. That issue could develop into another court's fight in bankruptcy, in the bankruptcy case. Murray is also expected to sell many of Jones's personal assets. You sent it on Discord? Oh, that's funny. I got a good laugh when I first saw it. This is pretty funny. Especially when he got busted by his own lawyers and then his wife's lawyers got a hold of those texts. Yep. It's helpful to marry your best friend. Generally came across a bit like you have a problem with Jewish people, but imagine that wasn't your intention. No, I don't have a problem with Jewish people. But, fair point. Maybe the gun was jumped. I will unban. Why are though Americans scared of socialism and communism? I was born in 1987. Get all things for free. Is it bad? Well, Americans are propagandized to the point where they see capitalism. Well, not just Americans, but anyways, we see capitalism as a dogma that can't be challenged. The Sandy Hook families who won the Connecticut lawsuit want Jones to lose his personal social media accounts. Their lawyers further contend that the families should get a chunk of all of Jones's future earnings to help pay off his more than $1 billion debt. Christopher Mattei, the lawyer for the Sandy Hook families in the Connecticut lawsuit, said the judge's signing of the auction order will be a significant step forward in the family's efforts to make Jones pay for his hoax lies. Alex Jones will no longer own or control the company he built, Mattei said in a statement. This brings the families closer to their goal of holding him accountable for the harm he has caused. The rest of Info's assets, including computers, video cameras, and other studio equipment, would be sold at an auction December 10th. Jones has made several $1 million over the years, selling dietary supplements, apparel, survival gear, books, and other items he promotes on his shows, which air on the internet and dozens of radio stations. It's unclear how much money would be raised by selling InfoWars and Jones assets and how much money the Sandy Hook families would get. Like, how many radio stations would actually even air this? I wasn't even aware of this. I thought he wasn't in any, I wasn't aware that he was in any radio station. Jones had about $9 million in personal assets, according to court filings. Free Speech Systems has about $6 million in cash on hand and $1.2 million worth of inventory. Lawyers, finance experts, and others who work on Jones' bankruptcy cases who have racked up millions of dollars in fees and expenses are expected to be paid first. A remaining legal dispute in the bankruptcy case is whether Free Speech Systems owes more than $50 million to another Jones-owned company, PQPR Holdings Limited. Free Speech System buys dietary supplements from PQPR to sell on the InfoWars website. PQPR said it wasn't paid for the many supplements and filed liens. Sandy Hook lawyers allege the debt is bogus. If the debt is found to be valid, that could reduce any amount the Sandy Hook families ultimately get from liquidation. I hope for the rest of his life he's going to end up having to pay this 1 point whatever billion. I hope so. Don't read Nancy Pelosi tracker tweets. I can assure you I'm not going to read any Nancy Pelosi tweets. You have my word. Not today, anyways. We are not reading Nancy Pelosi tweets. Jones was carried on a shortwave station at one point. I wasn't aware that he was still able to even be on air, to be honest. All right, folks. Remember how we were talking about potential chaos in the election? Wisconsin mayor carts away absentee ballot. Dropbox says he did nothing wrong. The mayor of a central Wisconsin city who ran for office on his opposition to absentee ballot drop boxes said on Wednesday he did not do anything wrong when he put on work gloves, donned a hard hat, and used a dolly to cart away a drop box outside City Hall. Thanks for the unban. Sorry if I came across hostile. I think it was a misunderstanding. Yeah, I think so too. Thank you for the follow. Wasu Mayor Doug Diney posed for a picture on Sunday to memorialize his removal of the city's lone drop box that had been put outside City Hall around the same time last week that absentee ballots were sent to voters. This is no different from the maintenance guy moving out there. No, hold up. That is not true. That is not true. This guy is not only the mayor not only the mayor, but he's from the Republican Party. So, like, yeah, dude, that's super sketch. That is super sketch. Don't practice stereotypes and you're good. No, I think this was all just one giant misunderstanding. I think the phrasing of how things came off were not good. Listen, bro, what's the angle here? What is the angle here, Dota? Like, I have not yet understood anything that's... Doug Dimmadome, owner of Dimsdale Dimmadome. Legalize corruption? I don't think this is legal. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if this is okay. If you can have a member of a party that has an elected position move around an absentee ballot box, I don't know. I don't know if that's legal. This is no different than the maintenance guy moving it out there. Which, no, that's not true, because a maintenance dude isn't the mayor of and belonging to the major party, to a major party. I'm a member of staff. There's nothing nefarious going on here. I'm hoping for a good result. Yeah, okay, dude. Danny ran as a conservative and was backed by the Republican Party in a nonpartisan mayor's race. He is in the first year as Wasu mayor after being elected in April. Sorry, not a member of the Republican Party. He was backed by the Republican Party. Sorry. I'll rephrase that. Nobody jailed, so it's legal. A move which sparked a protest in the city, night and anger among the Dropbox advocates is the latest example in a swing state, Wisconsin, of the fight over whether communities will allow absentee ballot drop boxes. Several Republican-run municipalities, including 6 in Milwaukee County, 2 in Waukesha County, 3 in Dodge County, have opted against using drop boxes for the presidential election in November, while they're being embraced in heavily Democratic cities, including Milwaukee and Madison. Drop boxes, widely used in 2020, fueled by a dramatic increase in absentee voting due to the COVID pandemic. At least 500 drop boxes were set up in more than 430 communities for the election that year, including more than a dozen each in Madison and Milwaukee. Drop boxes were used in 39 other states during the 2022 elections, according to the Stanford MIT Healthy Election Project. After former President Trump lost the state, in 2020, he and other Republicans alleged that drop boxes facilitated cheating, even though they offered no evidence. Democrats, election officials, and some Republicans argued that the boxes are secure. Trump people are trying to get the Nebraska governor to change the state's electoral vote, and the governor said no. Thank freaking goodness. We talked about that story. I'm glad that the governor said no, because that would have been disastrous. I'm not sure. I think it depends on state to state, even though it should be pretty uniform for all. You would think so, but no. It can even vary. Excuse me. It can even vary from county, how things can be run at the county level of how elections are run. Should it be uniform? Yes. You're right. It should, even though it should be uniform for all of them. You're right. Dude, are you freaking kidding me? Now immigrants can vote, so it'll be spicy. The trolls are really like this one has been. I still can't catch the angle. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out. Are they seriously trolling? Although that last comment is the last straw. Listen, bro, like, can we not do that? If you do that again, like, the banhammer will be unleashed. Like, that's just not, dude. Wants about have an itchy trigger finger. No. Oh, he's texting you now? Yeah, just get him out of here. Bye-bye. That's not cool. Don't DM people. Don't DM people. You know, I thought I don't know what the angle was there, but I think we got it. I think we got it. Just to be clear, okay. The implication this person was making is that illegal people are voting. That's not how that works. Anyways, the Wisconsin Election Commission in guidance sent in July to all 1,900 plus clerks who administer the elections in Wisconsin said it was up to the municipal clerks to determine location of drop boxes. Wausau, with about 40,000 people, is among the cities that did not use absentee drop boxes in August state primary. Wausau is located in Marathon County, which Trump won by 18 points. Diney said that he and the city clerk, Caitlin Bernard, never discussed the drop box before it was placed outside City Hall last week. Diney said he decided Sunday to act when he realized the drop box was not secure. Okay. Bernard did not return an email or voice message from Wednesday seeking comment. Like, again, this is super freaking sketchy, man. Like, you can't do this kind of stuff. You can't do this kind of stuff. It's not okay. Not okay at all. While Diney said he's generally opposed to drop boxes, he also said he's not taking a position on whether it should be in a place for the ballots that are in voters' hands now and can be returned until Election Day. As it stands now, I don't have a dog in the hunt. I want it to be done properly and with proper input and consent of citizens. It is a felony in Wisconsin to impede or prevent the free exercise of the franchise at an election. The Wisconsin Election Commission urges clerks to contact law enforcement if anyone attempts to tamper or with a drop box or prevents its view. Hey, or excuse. Hey, I suspect that that could possibly fall under that. So I don't know why he took it upon himself to even touch that thing. Just because you put something in there doesn't mean it's going to be counted as a vote. I mean, not undocumented myself, but I would imagine if you would avoid as much governance as possible, even if it was a voter box, it would be tiny. Yeah, I mean, like the point being is like you can't. You shouldn't be touching these things, especially as like an elected official that was backed by one of the parties. Like, can you imagine like the scandal if there was a Democratic mayor in a swing state, a Democratic mayor in a swing state touching, let alone moving an official drop box? Can you imagine the outrage that would freaking trigger on the right? Can you imagine if there was a story about a Democratic mayor in a swing state, in a swing state moving or touching a drop box? Quote, if somebody would have put it in their pickup truck and drove it away, the police would be looking for them for theft or property. The drop box is safe inside City Hall while the issue is unresolved. Sioux resident Pamela Bannister, speaking at the city council meeting Tuesday night, called for Denny to apologize and return the drop box. This is the kind of action that's designed to stir the pot. It does not tamp down the rhetoric that we're all facing this election cycle. It accomplishes nothing positive, and amounts to, in my estimation, voting interference and intimidation. Yeah, I agree. At the very least, it is stirring the pot for absolutely no freaking reason. And at the worst, it is interference and tantamount to messing with the election. He's taking away the opportunity to vote. Those ballots still get to match the voter roll, so there's no danger whatever people put in there. Right, like, just to be clear, this has nothing to do with voter integrity at all. This has nothing to do with voter integrity. The fact that this guy's pretending that he wants everything to be done correctly and whatnot, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. At the very least, he's just trying to stir the pot for no reason. And at worst, this is like a freaking felony. Because like, why is it okay to touch these things? You can't. You're not supposed to mess with this. You're not supposed to take it back inside. You're not supposed to touch it at all. That's the whole point. Stupid hard hat to move a box. Yeah, he unironically put like worker gloves and a hard hat to move this thing, which presumably is empty at this time. I hope it fell on his toe. All right, folks, we got one more story. I'm pretty sure most of you are aware at this time by now about what we're about to talk about, but just in case, because it is a very rough story. It is a very rough story. We're gonna go over the story of Marcellus Williams. The state of Missouri executes a man for the 1998 killing of a woman despite her family calls to spare his life. And also, the evidence, a tragedy. Really. It really is. It really is. It's beyond effed up. It's beyond effed up. A Missouri man convicted of breaking into a woman's home and repeatedly stabbing her was executed on yesterday, over the objection of the victim's family and the prosecutor who wanted the death sentence commuted to life in prison. Like, even over the victim's family's wishes. This is just beyond. This is exactly why the death penalty should be abolished, full stop, across the board. Because like, the state shouldn't have this ability to take away life like that. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. I mean, over the last decade, Republicans sort of created conspiracy around voting while also fulfilling some of them by trying to make voting harder. Yeah. Not only that, not only just by making voting harder, just to address that, not just by making voting harder, but fulfilling that conspiracy by they themselves being the ones who do shenanigans around the voting, around the elections. So yeah, I think you're right. It's freaking disgusting. It's freaking disgusting. Marcellus Williams, 55, was convicted in the 1998 killing of Laisha Gale, who was stabbed during the burglary of a suburban St. Louis home. Williams was put to death despite questions his attorney raised over the jury selection and the handling of the evidence of the case. His clemency petition focused heavily on how Gale's relatives wanted Williams' sentence to be commuted to life without the possibility of parole. The family defined closure as Marcellus being allowed to live. His execution was not necessary. As Williams lay awaiting execution, he appeared to converse with the spiritual advisor seated next to him. Williams wiggled his feet underneath a white sheet, which was pulled up to his neck, and moved his head slightly while his spiritual advisor continued to talk. And Williams' chest heaved about half a dozen times and showed no further movement. Ugh, that's so... Williams summoned two attorneys watched from another room. No one was present on behalf of the victim's family. The Department of Corrections released a brief statement that Williams had written ahead of the time, saying all praise be to Allah in every situation. Republican Governor Mike Parsons said he hoped the execution brings finality to the case that languished for decades, re-victimizing Ms. Gale's family over and over again. Bro, the victim's family said they didn't want this to happen. So, like, no, you absolute freaking ghoul. No, that's not. No, you went completely against the victim's family's wishes. That's just gross. No juror nor judge has ever found Williams' innocence claimed to be credible. The NAACP has been among those urging Parsons to cancel the execution. Tonight, Missouri lynched another innocent black man, said NAACP President Derek Johnson in a statement. It was the third time Williams faced execution. He got reprieves in 2015 and 2017, but his last-ditch efforts this time were futile. Parsons said the state Supreme Court rejected his appeals in quick succession on Monday, and the U.S. Supreme Court declined to intervene hours before he was put to death. Last month, Gale's relatives gave their blessings to an agreement between St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and Williams' attorney to commute the sentence to life in prison, but acting on an appeal from Missouri Attorney General Bailey's office, the state Supreme Court nullified that agreement. Williams was among death row inmates in 5 states who were scheduled to be put to death in the span of a week, an unusually high number that defies the years-long decline in the use of the support of the death penalty in the U.S. The first was carried out on Friday in South Carolina. Texas was also slated to execute a prisoner on Tuesday evening. Gale, 42, is a social worker and former St. Louis Dispatch reporter. Prosecutors at Williams' trial said he broke into her home on August 11th of 1998, heard the shower running and found a large butcher knife. Gale was stabbed 43 times when she came downstairs. Her purse and the husband's laptop were stolen. Authorities said Williams stole a jacket to conceal the blood on his shirt. His girlfriend asked him why he would wear a jacket on a hot day. She said later saw the purse and laptop in the car, and Williams sold the computer a day or two later. Prosecutors also cited testimony from Henry Cole, who shared a cell with Williams in 1999. While Williams was jailed on unrelated charges. Cole told the prosecutor that Williams confessed to the killing and provided details about it. So, hearsay? Williams' attorney responded that the girlfriend and Cole were both convicted felons and wanted a $10,000 reward. They said that the fingerprints, bloody shoe print, and hair and other evidence of the crime scene didn't match Williams. The crime scene investigator had testified that the killer wore gloves. The questions about DNA evidence also led St. Louis prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell to request a hearing challenging Williams' guilt. That's wild. Like this is wild, and exactly the reason why the death penalty shouldn't exist. You have dubious evidence already. You have the story of somebody who said this is what he was told. And we're executing a man based on this. We're executing the state. The state is executing a person based on this. When even the prosecuting attorney was trying to issue a challenge to his guilt. But days before the August 21st hearing, new testing showed that DNA on the knife belonged to members of the prosecution's office who handled it without gloves after the original crime lab tests. So, like, how is that? How can you use that as evidence then? It's done. You guys messed up the case. That is not upon the person. That is on the state to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt, or whatever the saying is. I'm sorry, I'm tired. That he did this crime. That he did this crime. I've always found it strange. Right-wing families and friends are pro-life, but also pro-capital punishment. I'm sure it stems from like biblical misunderstanding or blind traditionalism, but not sure. It's contradictory because they're maybe it's not that that maybe they actually don't believe or are pro-life. Does that make sense? Good meme indeed. Thank you for the follow, trans women. An old saying is better. An old saying is better let 10 guilty folks go free than convict one innocent. Right. That's exactly what comes to mind. And the fact that they botched this so bad, it's just disgusting. It's just disgusting. Without DNA evidence pointing to any alternative suspect, Midwest Innocence Project attorneys reach a compromise with the prosecutor's office. Williams would enter a new no-contest plea to first-degree murder in exchange for a new life sentence in prison without parole. A no-contest plea isn't an admission of guilt, but is treated as such for the purpose of sentencing. But, like, I would challenge this because if the prosecution botched this evidence and they can't place you without a shadow of a doubt that you did this, like, man... Judge Bruce Hilton signed off, as did Gale's family, but Bailey appealed, and the state Supreme Court blocked that agreement and ordered Hilton to proceed with evidentiary hearing, which took place last month. Hilton ruled on September 12th that the first-degree murder conviction and death sentence would stand, noting that Williams' arguments had all been previously rejected. The decision was upheld Monday by the state Supreme Court. Attorneys for Williams, who is black, has also challenged the fairness of the trial, particularly the fact that one of only 12 jurors was black. Tricia Bushnell of the Midwestern Innocence Project said the prosecutor in the case, Keith Larner, removed 6 of 7 black prospective jurors. Larner testified at the hearing that he struck one potential black juror partly because he looked too much like Williams, a statement that Williams' attorney asserted showed improper racial bias. Yeah, I don't doubt this at all. I don't doubt this at all. Larner contended that the jury selection process was fair. Williams was the third Missouri inmate put to death this year and the 100th since the state resumed the death penalty in 1989. This is so freaking disgusting, man. And so disgusting. Not just the fact that like the evidence was messed with, the fact that like no attempt was made to look into that, because if you or I were to mess with evidence, we would go to prison for what? Obstruction? Evidence tampering? Meanwhile, these people completely botched this whole thing, and now the dude is dead. Now he's dead. And on top of that, on top of all of that, they spat in the victims' families' faces. On top of all of that. They spat on the victims' families' faces because they didn't want this to happen either. Yeah, we'd go to prison. I don't know what the consequences are, but we'd go to prison. So this is a what's the term for it? Classic case. A prime example, I should say. A prime example as to why the state shouldn't have this kind of power to execute people. This is a prime example, and forever a stain on the state of Missouri, and everybody involved in this. It's super sad, super frustrating. And it shouldn't have happened. Yeah, state-sanctioned assassination. Straight up murder. Straight up murder. All right, folks, it's time for me to get out of here. Whew, it's just over 7:30, and I gotta get some food. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you to all the new follows. Thank you for your support. Thank you to the folks on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. You guys are what makes this channel grow. Keep liking the stream on YouTube. Keep following, hitting the follow button. We're at 2,000. We're almost at 2,500. We're almost at 2,500 followers, folks. Keep it up. Thank you. And for the folks on YouTube, subscribe, folks. 258 of you have already done so. But I don't really know enough about the state legal system or capital punishment. I'd probably be against that ethnically, as it makes the state pretty dystopian and barbaric. I'd rather have awful crimes punished by life sentences and no parole, or over never-ending work gangs. At least you can get something productive. Well, yeah, the issue is like the state can end up killing people, can end up killing innocent people. That's the main issue. And like, as you can see, the justice system can't function when you can potentially, the justice system can't be properly trusted when the state has the ability to murder like that. It's just not okay. It's just not okay. It's not up for the state to make decisions like this, in my opinion. Give me 1 second. It should not be up to the states to make decisions like this, because you get results like this. It's just not okay. It can't be like this. We'll be back tomorrow. That's tentative, because tomorrow we will be monitoring what the weather bring. Yeah, punitive punishment. Yeah, first of all, that's also a very good point, Mouselander. Punitive punishment doesn't work, for one, and for two, the ultimate. Well, the way I was thinking about it ultimately is the state should not have this ability. Period. The state should not have this ability. Period. Full stop. That is not for the state to decide. So tomorrow, folks, the stream will be tentative. We will see what we can do. If the power is on, we will do the stream as normal until it's not. Okay? If the power, if it's going good and the power just shuts off, then it is what it is. We'll finish what we have and go from there. Movie night is on it is on Saturday. Yes. So join the Discord. We'll be doing movie nights. We'll be playing Crazy Rich Asians Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to join, consider hanging out. It's pretty fun. Last movie night was pretty awesome. October 1st, we'll have the vice presidential debate on the Discord as well. So join us for that as well. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you, Michael Hessler. Thank you, Heat, for modding. I appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, folks. I'm just dead. I'm just beat. These last couple of days have been rough. Whew. Thank you all. I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow. See ya. So much win. Yeah, honestly, speaking of win, this channel has been doing really well. So thank you guys. This has another add-on addition. All right, folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.